welcome back to No Agenda. First thing I want to do is shout out Jimmy, my guy over there. He's been hosting for me while I've been away. That's why I've given him the top spot in the top left. I don't deserve to be there because of my absence and him holding me down.
Stop. No photos. Stop. No photos, man. No photos.
We've got Brian with us all the way from Minnesota?
Virginia.
The
VA from the VA.
Just outside of New York, if I'm not mistaken. And Arium, if you know, Meaty Ballers Matter, that brand. He's that guy. He's decided to join us tonight. You guys know how we do No Agendas. Agendas matter, but can you back it up with substance? And what we've been doing backstage while we started late, we've been watching Onana clips. Onana's a player that I haven't seen many people talking about throughout the season as a candidate or as a potential Man United target. But now everybody's an expert on him. Everybody's sold on him all of a sudden. I find that weird. We were just watching some clips backstage from Y Scout. So we watched 17 goals that Inter Milan conceded when he was in goal. We watched another 10, 15 saves that he made that weren't goals. And then we watched him coming for crosses, which we didn't even need to watch too much of that because it was just, the way he comes for crosses is just so clear. One thing I would say, this little thing does bother me a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you. He has made mistakes this season. For whatever reason, the way errors leading to goals is recorded, it's coming up 0. But we've just watched some clips and blatantly seen that he has made mistakes this season. So what we're going to do actually, to kick off the show, we're going to evaluate Onana. We're going to evaluate him. The ball playing out of the back stuff, we don't need to evaluate. He's obviously very good at those things, right? We're going to look at his deflecting shots away from goal, his reaction saves, how safe his handling is, his positioning and claiming crosses, right? That's what we're going to evaluate based on the clips that we just watched. That's what we're going to do. Right off the bat, claiming crosses, 5 is the max. Obviously, 0 is the lowest. We can go in between to rank it. I'm comfortable giving him a 4 out of 5 Onanas for claiming crosses. I don't think we need to. Do we need to debate this, Arium, Brian, Jimmy? Anyone want to debate this?
Claiming. Just if you're just thinking about claiming crosses, I'll give him a 5. I'm not. What if you're because claiming doesn't mean you're always successful. But if you're talking about a keeper who's always willing to claim crosses, I would absolutely give him a 5. I mean, there's a lot of other elements I'm going to criticize when we talk about them, but claiming crosses just as an action from a keeper, 5 for me, easy.
Brian,
I'm comfortable giving them 4. I mean, no player's perfect in my mind, so I will say, just from the sample size of watching some of the clips of his game, claiming crosses is a huge strength of his game. So I think that when he signs for United, we're going to be very pleased with the confidence that he has in his ability to do that. So 4 out of 5 is fine for me.
Arium, what are you saying in regards to Onana claiming crosses? Are you there, Arium?
Yeah, I'm comfortable to give him a 5 because I think there's no reason because physically I can't think of him being bullied. You know, where someone maybe they're too small to even try and give them the highest score. Experience. I didn't see him miss the judging the flight of the ball. Nothing glaring. So yeah, even backpedaling was fine. So yeah, bro, 5 for me. Calm. If that's the highest, yeah.
It's split. We're gonna go with 4 because that proactiveness will come with a curse.
I'm not uncomfortable. I'm not uncomfortable with 4.
I think 4 is fine.
Where's he not? Like, what was the thing that he could do better?
I just think when you're that aggressive,
you get caught out sometimes.
You're gonna get caught out sometimes because no one's perfect. Also, in that sample size, if we're basing off the sample size we watched, you guys are right. It's actually a 5. Let's be honest.
It is a 5.
Yeah.
It is
but
a 5.
That sample size, Daniel, is very, very accurate. I've only really watched him in the Champions League properly. But
and you know what it is? We watched the clip
sample size is not far off. That's how he operates.
I showed these guys one clip from the Tottenham game when Ajax beat them 1-0 in the first leg, and there was one cross that he came for. That's just
he looked. That was amazing.
No geek was doing stuff like that. So we're going to work our way up. So we'll start at the bottom, work our way to the top. We'll come to you first, Ariam, actually. Out of 5, how many Onanas would you pause? I was going to say something wild there. What would you give him out of 5 for positioning based on what you saw, what we watched, Ariam? And you're better.
I would give him
Twitter space. So stay off. 1 second. To say the Twitter space, so just stay off mute. Just stay off mute.
Just stay off mute. You just stay off mute. Stay off
Oh,
mute.
sorry, my bad. I would give him. Oh, you said positioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I actually need to think about this quite well.
Yes, you do.
Because he leans on sides, and also the way he covers the near post is good because it shows that he knows how kind of catastrophic those mistakes can be for people's confidence in you. But then at the same time, it's a bit paranoid. Like, he's so convicted. I don't like paranoia because it's not that deep. It's just one goal. You know, I don't like keepers who look like a particular type of goal could really mess up their confidence if they can see that. That's one of the issues I had. So there was some paranoia there. But centrally, I think he's okay. One of the reasons I think Alisson is great is because he stands still. Like, he doesn't do the tap dancing and Ramsdale stuff. I hate that. I can never ever like that. Minley does that. So I would actually give him a 3. I think positioning he could improve when facing finesse shots. Basically, I think that's why I'm giving him a 3. But like pile driver, all that kind of stuff, I like the fact he doesn't close his eyes. I like, he would never, if I can swear on here, it doesn't seem like he'll pussy out. But he may make the wrong decision in terms of a small step before could really help him. So yeah, I'd say a 3.
Anyone disagree with that rating?
I would go lower.
Yeah, I would go lower as well.
Oh, wow. Brian, explain why you'd go lower.
Not significantly lower. I wouldn't give him like a 1 or a 0, but I would go as low as a 2. I think
I've got Onana in the black kit for a half. So if you guys want to go, you want to say 2.5? That's where we land. I've got that ready.
Yeah, no, it's not really much of a disagreement as it is like just an interpretation for me. I think that he thrives in areas when he can actually have clear sight of the ball. There was one that we watched that was just a disgrace. I mean, he completely leans out beyond the near post just to see the ball, and 3/4 of the goal is open. I mean, the forward basically passed the ball into the back of the net from the corner of the 18. If De Gea does that, he gets crucified. You know what I mean? And I think give De Gea his flowers. Like, now that he's gone, one of his strengths is like he will stand and he will trust his reflexes when the ball gets to him. Onana, I think, doesn't do that. I think he needs to see it.
I also think De Gea was amazing at using his positioning to psych out strikers and forwards on one-on-ones. Like, poker face, I think he would rarely blink first. And I think De Gea was amazing at that. He didn't blink.
I think, for me, I agree with the 2 because I think he does this thing where he relies on his defenders to cover the other position. And he's just from the clips that we've watched, he takes up this position where there's this other space that he's relying on some of the defenders to cover it. And I've seen that just in the clips that we've watched. He's done it a few times. But also for me, but I think it's just maybe time, maturity, just practice, coaching, because it's not a big problem. Because I think he takes the backward step too late, or maybe takes the forward step too quickly. So I think positionally, I think he's got quite a lot of things that he needs to learn. I think he's very capable of a very stupid mistake purely because he's not mastered the art of being in the right position. You can, for all of De Gea's faults, positionally, usually he was in the right position. He just didn't have sometimes the ability to make the save, or he was a bit too slow. But I think he took up the right positions on goal. And I think Onana's got a long way to learn about that.
I know this isn't in the tier list, but it's actually irritating me that we're not trying to define what we mean specifically in terms of positioning. I'm not saying no one knows what it is, but like my specific was one-on-ones. I think he doesn't look
I've created
the best.
one-on-one as a category.
Okay, nice.
There's a one-on-one.
But I think positioning. So this is the only half we're gonna do. 2.5 or 3. What are we saying? So on positioning, Jimmy, 2.5 or 3. What are you saying?
At 2.5, I would say.
Brian, what are you saying?
I gotta say 2.5.
I'd say 3. Ariam, you still strong on 3?
I still have to fight you. I want another tier for positioning.
We've got one-on-ones. So
we've got 1v1s.
But on general positioning, do you know what? I think 2.5 is a bit too low. But I think
it's not. It's not.
Because his set piece positioning is 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's not too low,
you know what?
Daniel.
Out of 5, 2.5 is fine. You guys are right. Out of 5,
yeah, I think 2.5 is
out of 5. I think it's fine.
I mean, it's exactly average. So.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, it literally is. It literally is. And I think he's below average positionally. I really do.
I'm
not trying to be harsh, for the sake of it, but I think he's below average positionally.
I don't think you're being harsh at all.
It's not the worst thing because
range, though.
Yeah, but I think he can learn that. He can learn the art.
Okay,
of being in the right
Ariam, I'll help you out a little bit with what I mean. So for me, like De Gea thrived in situations when things are getting a bit chaotic around the box. He still found a way to bail the defense out, even if they couldn't clear their lines with making some sort of save. And that has a lot to do with his following the play as the ball pings around the 18 before the shot comes in. And so,
to be fair, Brett, I think you said it best because De Gea just holds his position, and relies on his reflexes.
Yes.
Alisson's a goalkeeper that's intelligent enough to anticipate what's happening and react accordingly and position himself so there's no drama. Onana's neither. He's actually, I think Ariam used the right word. He's paranoid, and because he's paranoid, he moves around and he can be quite out of position. That's why, for general positioning, I think 2.5 is a fair score.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I could see in his first season him being unfairly labeled as erratic. I could see that, I
don't mind. That's what we said about Edison, Alisson, all those keepers. We said.
Well, look, no goalkeeper's perfect. We've given him 5 out of 5 for claiming crosses, 2.5 for positioning. We're going to go to one-on-ones next. In the sample size we saw, there were enough one-on-ones, but not a crazy amount. So let's just caveat that with that. I'll lead this one and say 1v1s. The most I could give him, to be honest, I'm giving him a 2. I'm going to be honest. For 1v1, I'm giving him a 2. Out of 5, in what we watched, and again, I'm going to say it again, we watched 17 goals he's conceded from the Man City game, all comps from that game. So 17 goals conceded. Then from the Man City game, I think it goes to about 7 to 10 matches. 50, no, it was actually another, I think it was 40. So another 20 shots that he saved after that. So we watched in total for 46 clips, right? To determine if he conceded goals that should have been saved and his handling just to assess it, shots that he saved. So in that sample size, there were enough. There were maybe 8, 9, 10 one-on-ones in that sample size of 47.
Yeah.
And what I saw, some of the things he actually caused some problems that led to the one-on-ones. So I'm giving him a 2. Anyone dispute that?
Inter don't face that many fast breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So he won't have the chance to. But from what I've seen and what I know, because we played them quite a few times when he was at Ajax. One-on-ones. He's clunky. He's cumbersome.
So no one disagrees with a 2 for one-on-ones?
I don't know. I think the only point I'd like to make is probably that even the ones that you're saying, he's caused the mistake. He's caused the one-on-one. He's saved them. So even I know he's caused them because we're talking about a different category than ours.
No, we're talking about the one where you said the defender should cover for him, but even then he didn't take any action himself. So I assessed his positioning, his body shape to deal with the shot. Ariam said he's cumbersome. a little bit erratic, so he didn't actually have a plan of action in how to set his stature,
how to correct his mistake. Yeah, no, I get that. Maybe I think a 2 is reasonable. Maybe I think I just didn't see enough sample size to make the determination. I think, but yeah, a 2 is acceptable from what I've seen.
Jimmy, for me, I know that goalkeepers don't normally have understudies, but just rock with me on the example. I don't think Onana would do very well trying to explain to a young keeper how he did what he did.
Yeah.
He'd be like, are you
fair.
6'3"? Are you big? Like before, like this, there will be prerequisites for him to be able to even, explain to someone. Because if you're not me, there's no way you'd even think of approaching the situation like this.
Yeah, I agree with that. So one-on-ones, we're going to give him a 2.
Yes,
did you guys have confidence in his? Did he have safe handling? And by that I mean, the type of shots a goalkeeper should just gather comfortably. Shouldn't be punching away. Shouldn't be spilling out of your hands.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I'll go to you first on this, Jimmy. How would you feel about his handling?
Yeah, I think I commented on this. Yeah, because when we were watching the clips, that was one of my biggest concerns. Is that I feel like he punches when he should catch. And that's a big problem for me.
Because he's got lumberjack hands.
Yeah, because it feels like, I mean, it's different from De Gea because he has a much stronger hand, very clearly. Because when he punches, the ball goes away. It's like a bloody clearance. So the ball does go. So he's taking the danger away. But actually, he could have just caught the ball. And there's been so many of those clips that we watch where he's punched it, even on the ground. Where a lot of keepers will stop the ball with one hand, claw it back quickly and bring it back and bring it to your chest. Because the one hand is to stop, because you can't get as far with 2 hands as you can with one hand. So you go with one hand. Now, when you do that, you stop the ball, then you claw it back and catch it.
Do you know what I'm struggling with? So I think I think Aaron said it. He's got his hand. He's got like rough. I can tell. If I met Onana, his hands are rough. I can already.
He's got a firm handshake.
His handshake would be loud.
Yeah,
his handshake would.
Like you better make sure you prepare for that handshake if you're shaking Onana's hand.
Oh yeah.
So it's weird. I wouldn't give him anything less than a 3 because he's got strong hands. He's got hands like bricks.
I think I would give him a 4 because even though he doesn't catch it, and wait, let me explain.
4.
Because even though he doesn't catch the ball, he gets it away from danger. So what do we want from the keeper is to make sure that
let me tell you why I agree with Jimmy. The reason why
he's getting the ball away from danger, and I know that's down to his strong hands, and we can see that. But I think he gets it enough away from danger that
so you guys are saying 4. Me and Brian will chime in. Make your point, Ariam, and then I'll let Brian respond, and I'll go as well.
The reason why I agree with Jimmy is on the 4, specifically the 4, not a 5, is he is at the very least bringing me one particular skill set in terms of handling where you can build upon it. So I wouldn't necessarily do double jeopardy with any sort of errors. I would prefer, if I was a coach in a parallel universe at Man United, I would ask him to build upon, and I would expect a coach to build upon the strong hands he has, because I think that is enough to keep him at a 4. I don't think you would see a benefit of trying to get him to adjust certain things that clearly are entrenched. But I also think at Man United, he'd be able to settle, because obviously that's a club where you finish. That's a finishing club for any footballer. And I think he'd have the opportunity to basically be told and double down on those things that are the strong points. Put it this way, at Roma, Alisson was even more erratic. But then when he, was finally able to become whoever he wanted to become.
Better coaching, because of better coaching.
Not just better coaching, but also the destination.
The goalkeeper that's arriving at Man United, is his handling, has he got safe hands? Like,
I think he's got safe hands.
If you give him 20 shots that are going to come straight at him and he just has to gather it, right? or he's going down,
or get it away.
And for me, this is why I can't give him more.
But
than
there won't be
4.
consistency Devils in
Wait, Ariel. I tell you why. So on those type of shots, he's safe. But where he's not safe is when he has to go down low and just gather a simple shot or make a good save that's low. I don't see safe handling.
Are you talking about when you have to bend your knees and parry?
When he needs to bend, parry, or dive low instantly, and then
but Daniel, this is again, this is where you have to be careful what conversation you're having, because if you're saying, because if a keeper's beaten, a keeper's beaten.
No, I'm not talking about him being beaten. No.
He's talking about something else.
But what I'm saying is, if a keeper's beaten, a keeper's beaten. Whereas if we're saying safe handling, we're saying if he actually gets to the ball, are we expecting him to safely handle that ball? That's what we're saying, isn't it? That's the conversation. So if he goes to ground and he gets to the ball, I think he's capable of handling that ball safely. Whether he catches it or not.
I don't think it's 4 out of 5. I think it's 3.
Can I just quickly respond to Jimmy on that?
Wait. Let's let Bryant weigh in before you go, Aaron, because we've got 2 more categories. We've already done 20 minutes, so I'm conscious of time. Bryant, Aaron's saying 4, Jimmy's saying 4, I'm saying 3 out of 5 in terms of safe handling.
My initial gut reaction was 3 out of 5 for safe handling. But at the same time, in my mind, I like mix safe handling with claiming crosses. Mm-hmm. So there's a part of me where it's like a goalkeeper that I would give them 3 out of 5 for safe handling and like 5 out of 5 for claiming crosses. I'm expecting them to drop a ball if they get hit hard enough. But Onana's got good stature about him. I don't think that'll be an issue. But one of the things we were talking about off air a little bit that Jimmy mentioned was like, in the Premier League, the attackers are a lot closer to you. Like they're intentionally trying to put you off.
Yeah.
And the physical stature, and he's going to be matched with the physical stature of stature that's going to match his on a lot of levels by any striker that he comes up against in the Premier League, any forward attacker. So he's gonna have to go through a bit more. He's going to be put through his paces physically in the Premier League in a way that he wouldn't have in the Italian league. So that's why, based on that sample size and where he's coming from, I'm comfortable giving him a 3. But I think that growing into the Premier League, he could improve in that area. And I think it just comes from being a bit more confident in that. So that I don't have an issue giving him a 3 personally.
I'm with a 3. I got to be.
No,
honest.
you guys are sitting on the fence, man.
No, I think.
I'm not sitting on the fence at all.
I gave him a 2 on positioning, bro.
So, no, it is. To be fair, I think Brian.
Daniel, let me ask you a question.
Wait. I think let me get this out just out loud. I think Brian made a good point. It also, but we've got claiming crosses there, so I'm just thinking anything else other than crosses.
But Daniel,
based on what I saw,
having said that,
I think a 3 is fine. I think a 3 is
it's not
fair.
bad.
But Daniel, are you saying?
I wanted to respond to you, Jimmy. I wanted to. Respond.
So sorry, Ari, man. I know. Sorry. Go on, bro.
So what I wanted to say, right? Because I thought initially, okay, maybe you were correct, but I've thought about it and know what I think I meant. I'm not sure this is what Devils meant. Was when you have a particular type of technique or varied technique as a goalkeeper, as a fan, and I'm only speaking as a fan, there are some things that another manager might let slide. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt from how you were phrasing it, Devils, that you feel like there are 1 or 2 things that's okay in Serie A for Inter Milan, massive club, but that needs to be cut out at Man United.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
not only that?
Am I along the right lines?
I think he needs to. He needs to start. Right. He needs to start well.
Yep.
He needs to start well. And just
if he comes for a cross in the first game,
and to think about the variety we saw. We saw shots coming in quickly. We saw Mr. Whippies. We saw some goals. We saw goals he had no chance saving as well. To be fair to him, we saw those low shots. We saw that one where he parried it back centrally. So I'm looking at the whole picture. I think 3 out of 5 is fine. And we spent too much time on this. We need to look at his reaction time as well.
Yeah, go on.
I'm vetoing everybody. In terms of as a safe pair of hands, no, I'm a flip-flopper. No, I'm giving him 3. I'm not going to give him 4. We're going to give him 3. We're going to lower expectations.
Harsh.
We're going to lower expectations.
Boo.
As a safe bet, give him a 3. But again, you got to tally everything up. So maybe we can address some of these things afterwards.
You man are treating him like Ramsdale. Sure.
I'll be honest. In
Do you know
terms
what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? Fine.
that is facts.
He's
No,
got
Ariam,
that.
that is facts.
No. I'm
Ariam, that
vexed
is
now.
facts. No, he's
Fine.
spitting facts.
Fine.
He's
No,
spitting
I'm
facts.
actually
You know what?
You treat a man like Ramsdale, bro.
No, I'm vexed.
You know what it is. You know what? I'll be honest as well. I'm tainted by it. I've seen more clips than I showed you guys. That's the thing.
Yo, nah, just
that's
give my
fine,
man
that's
his
fine,
flowers,
right?
bro.
But
We've seen
more
all those
clips than I
clips, and you're
showed.
gonna give my man
is the
3.
flaw?
You're gonna give my man a 3 when we've seen all those clips
All
when
right.
he's coming
So
out
do
doing
you
bits.
want me to share my other? I've got a longer playlist that I didn't show to you guys because Ariam turned up late and Brian turned up late. Yeah. Don't we call these guys out? I've got another Another 10 minutes of clips that I've watched that you guys haven't watched. So I'm giving them a 3 for safe handling. Reaction saves. Brian, what say you on that?
Oh, man.
I already know.
What is that? Is that like
you know where I'm at with this. You don't even need to ask me, bro.
Reaction. All right, hold on. Wait. / reflex.
Oh,
reflex.
I thought you meant like deflections and stuff.
No, let's just go reflex. Reflex saves.
He's not. I mean, can you go to somebody else?
Why are you dodging it?
I'm not trying to. I'll say it. I'll say it.
What are you giving it?
1st of December, whatever.
He could be better.
What does that look like? What is out of 5? What does could be better look like?
Oh man, there were some bad ones. There were some bad ones. He got so like his reactions. I feel like his reflexes are good, but making the save to match your reflexes, I think he lacks a little bit. I'm gonna give him a 2. I'm kidding. I'm gonna give him a 3.
I think a 2 could have been fit. I don't know. Ariel, what are you saying? Reflexes.
I think his reflexes with his left hand are really, really good. But his right hand looks weak for some reason. I'd love to know what he wrote with, but his left hand looks way stronger. That's my main
I thought
thing.
the opposite. I thought his left hand
for real?
I thought his left hand was really weak.
And you know what?
I like his left hand.
You want to know what? That's got nothing to do with his hand strength. That's to do with how he throws his body from left to right.
Yeah. How he
but that's that leaning thing you were talking about, Ariam, isn't it? That
shift your body weight. Is it shift your body weight? Is that
it's all about body weight shifting. Yeah. You mentioned it at the start, Ariam, about his leaning.
It just depends on the moment how he shifted his body weight. So I don't actually think one is stronger than the other. It just depends on the situation how he shifts his body weight.
Let me say it like this, Devils. I think if you have composure as a striker, I think you can beat him. Yeah, you can carpet R9.
No. We're talking about reflex saves. So it's just like the examples.
That's what I mean. If you remove the reflex, then you'll be rooted.
So what are you giving him out of 5?
I would give him. Yeah, I'll be on the fence for that one. 3.
Jimmy, you disagree or agree?
I disagree.
What would you give him?
I would give him a 4.
Oh my god!
Now wait. Now let me just explain again, right? Because this is why I think that these categories are eggshells for me. Because what are you discussing? What are you talking about? If a keeper is beaten, a keeper's beaten.
Sure.
Again, right? If a keeper's beaten, a keeper's beaten. If we're talking about in the box, a striker was. How many 2-yard shots did he save when we were watching those clips? And you're going to tell me his reflexes are not good enough?
Yeah, his double saving is brilliant.
To be fair,
these shots were 2 yards away from him. He's saving them like it's nothing, and you're telling me that his reflexes are not good enough.
Come on, here we go.
No, we're not talking about his reflexes. We're talking about his reflex saves. Those are different things. I said his reflexes are good, but his ability to make saves off of his reflex could use work.
Because of the way he throws his body weight around and goes down.
Yes, but
so I'll give you an example. No. So Jimmy, those examples we saw from the set pieces, right? where he couldn't get down low quick enough to make. That's reflex saves. He was poor on those. Very poor.
That looping header that was like less than half a mile an hour that went in.
Exactly.
It's such a wide
That's not a
conversation.
I'm sorry. That's
There's
not
too
a
many
goalkeeper.
factors.
But reflexes is just instant. The factors don't matter
Yes.
because it's a reflex.
So how is he a 3 when he was four 2-yard shots that he saved when we were watching it? Do we expect him to make 100% saves?
And then the other shots where his reflexes let him down.
Yep.
That's why he's not a 4 out of 5.
Like reflex, like when you fling your arm.
I understand it. I understand it.
If David De Gea, if David De Gea is a 5 out of 10 for 5 out of 5 for reflexes, Onana's not just a level below. He's at least 2 levels below De Gea.
That's a very good way to say it.
So he's 3 out of 5, Jimmy.
It's one of that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
What I'm saying is,
What I'm saying is, if you're looking at the wider context of the conversation, I think this is where the criteria would have to be way more specific than just saying reflex. Because if a keeper's beaten, a keeper's beaten. What we're saying is, wait. What I'm saying is, if it's a situation where the probability of that save being made is pretty high, then you expect the keeper to use his reflexes to make the save. And I think in that scenario, he's been all right. He was beaten in some of the clips that we were watching because he was beaten, there was not many keepers who do.
So if you think about it, so
it's not perfect.
Yeah, you did it in 20 seconds already.
Some of the quality of the finishes that he faced were like, forget about it. Right? And reflexes wouldn't have helped him anyway. They're not even reflex saves. It's the ones in the penalty box that were pretty close to him. And for me, it's those ones where from headers where it goes mid-height to low, like a goalkeeper who's, if I'm using De Gea as the barometer, he's the best at it. If he's 5, I can't give Onana a 4 for that. I can't give him a 4 there.
Oh, Devils, are you talking about the far post, like glancing header?
No. I'm talking about those ones that were central, by the way. Those sent right down the center of the goal. Those.
Where you just have to fling your arms.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And,
let me just say 20 seconds. The reason why you did it
on the swivel, if a striker's on the swivel around the penalty spot, and that one that he got his hand to as an example, Brian, like,
yep.
Give De Gea 3.
You know the reason why you already did it so well is because you said the criteria. That's why I just want to respond to Jimmy on that. You know, when you state that I'm saying that De Gea is a 5 in this, that is the criteria because he's forming it by the level shown, performance level criteria. So it's already established at that point, which is why I was getting confused at the start because I'm thinking, okay,
Aaron, let me just cook this guy Alex in the comments. Let's get something actually clear. Yeah? Let's get something clear. Myself, Brian, and Ariam have watched 47 clips. Those 47 clips, right? There's preamble to these clips, so you get to see the build-up play before the shot. And on some of them, I extended the clip so these guys could see the replay from a different angle. Am I lying or telling the truth?
Well, does he think you use Brazil Scout or something?
So all I literally did was compile a playlist, 47 clips, 16-minute longs, and this is just on shot stopping. 16 minutes worth of shot stopping, and you're saying that we're just what type of clips do you think we're watching? What type of experiment do you think this is? We've already premised what it is. 17 goals that Inter conceded from City being 1 all the way down wherever it landed to 17 goals conceded. City being 1 to what was it about? For going 41, roughly 25 saves that he made, right?
Yeah.
In sequence. So about 9 football matches, 10 football matches worth of saves. There was a Juve game that wouldn't end when it comes to the crossing section because he just kept claiming crosses. So don't tell me I have an agenda when actually we're trying to do an objective experiment with 4 different people. That type of attitude, like, I can't stand that type of accusation, to be honest with you.
But lazy people project.
Hold on, Eric. And we've already premised, like, it's based on 47 clips. We're not telling you it's based on 25 90-minute football matches. It's just clips.
Yeah, but that's why we've said a lot to say this is all just from what we're
hiding anything. But again,
there's no, we've not got all the detail. On
the reflexes, based on the clips we've watched, I can't.
He can't get more than 3. He
can't get more than 3.
Like the way, like for me, it's David De Gea would make those say. I mean, he would get knocked on his behind by a shot and then he would find a way to save the rebound. Like, I don't think Onana would do that.
Yeah, but David De
I
Gea
don't think
also
it-
just wouldn't
I
claim
don't
the
think it-
cross and just end the danger.
Sure.
But as I've said,
Of course.
you
Yeah,
know what
it's
it
6
is.
in one
It's
hand, half a
those-
dozen in the other. I think we're
know what it
losing
is,
something
Brian?
by not having De Gea anymore, but we're
The reason
gaining.
why I can't give him more than 3 out of 5, those saves from the those goals from the set pieces when he couldn't get low, like those are reflexes because they're pretty close. Like it's not super
Like Fraser
close,
Forster is actually an interesting
but it's
thing of what you
close
said.
enough to test your reflexes, and he wasn't sharp. It became a pattern where it's like, oh, there's that same scenario. Whenever you need to go low from this type of header, you struggle, especially at that distance. That's a reflex save. You can't give him more than 3 out of 5, and then when you encompass all the other examples, I think 3 out of 5 is fair, and it's out of 5. Like it's not out of 10. It's out of 5.
It's not out of 10. Yeah, it's
3
out
out
of
of 5 is fine.
Three out of 5 is not bad.
Maybe we could do more halves, but no, we're not trying to sit on the fence here. So, deflecting shots away from goal. We'll go to you first on Jimmy. What rank would you give him on this out of 5?
What's that? Could you just read that again? Sorry, I was typing.
No, just his ability to deflect shots away from goal. So not centrally, away.
Again, quite high. I'd give him a 4 again, because this is, again, I was talking about the strength of his hands. I feel like he's got strong hands. Well, because he doesn't look phased by the power of the shot. Even if you look at some of the goals that he conceded in the clips that we were watching, he's still, I mean, some of those shots were so powerful, but he's punched the ball. It's just too powerful for him to parry it away. But I think more of those he was punching away than he was letting in. So I'd give him a 4 because I don't think as many keepers that can actually deflect balls comfortably without worrying about the power of the shot.
Yep.
So quite high, 4 for me.
Yep.
Ariam, agree or disagree?
I agree with every single part of that. Like I wanted to even see, but I didn't have time to Google it. I wanted to cheat to see if he'd ever got like a hand injury, but because I wanted to drop a line, but I didn't have the time.
Well, I think he might have a bionic arm or something.
He's got titanium screws in his-
If he's never had a hand injury, then my line would have banged, but I don't know yet.
But he's got vibranium in his arm, innit?
Trust. For me, because the tier didn't say deflecting shots away for crosses or far away, because there was no like extra detail, I can agree with the 4.
No, I'm
but
saying
if there was like a
if I want to
specific detail, maybe.
I'm saying away from the center of the goal.
Oh,
that's what I mean.
What 5?
That's what I'm talking about. Away from the center of the goal.
5. If it's about distance, 5.
5. I think 5 is too much. Just because
nice.
What I noticed is his hands are so strong. Like the ball goes where it goes, and most of the time it goes where it needs to, or it goes either straight or.
He has direction on it. I know where you're going, Devils. Don't do that.
My man punched the ball all the way to the halfway line, but I've never seen
Devils wants to land it. He's not 100% sure where it's going.
No. I'm saying shots. If we're talking, by the way, when I put claiming crosses, I'm including punching. That's why he gets, you know what? We gave him a 5 for claiming crosses. Because when he punches for crosses, forget it. Like the ball might end up in the other goal. Like,
Nick Pope settings.
Hands are ridiculous. I already know if I shake his hand, he's going to break my hand. Deflecting away from goal, I think a 4 is fine. Because I already know there's going to be a few instances where it comes back centrally because his hands are so strong. He'll get down, it will just bounce, come central, and the Gea fanboys want to cook him for it. So, no one's perfect, but I think a 4 out of 5 is fine. Just to summarize, we've watched 47 clips, 16 minutes long, goals conceded and shots saved of Onana. There was preamble to these shots, so it's not 1 second and a shot. You got to see the build-up play, his positioning, could even scrub it and assess certain things and extend it to see a different angle when the guys requested. And we did that before the stream. We linked up at 7 to do that, to start the stream.
Danny, just to say,
1 second, Jimmy. So out of 5, we're giving him 4 for deflecting shots away from goal. I'd give him 3.5, but 4, that's fine with him. I'm not angry at that. Reflex saves are 3, safe handling are 3, 1v1s are 2, positioning 2.5, could be 3, but again, it's out of 5, not the end of the world. Claiming crosses, if I could give him an extra 1, I might actually, because it's so proactive.
Yes.
Fine. So that's how we've evaluated collectively. Onana,
Yeah,
away
you're
from
never
the
gonna
things
see
that,
Callum Wilson stick it on your keeper again.
no,
At
just
set
away
piece.
from like, because we know the ball playing, everybody's concerned with those things, but he still needs to be a goalkeeper. And looking at that overall, I think we've got a good goalkeeper. I don't think he's the greatest goal. I don't think he's like the best goalkeeper in the world from a shot stopping, reflexes, the whole package. But I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's good. When you think about the things that we know he's excellent at, I don't mind that type of balance. If we're going to get quick counterattacks, better build-up play for a goalkeeper that's good but excellent at those things, yeah, I can't complain. As long as he delivers with the football, I don't think anybody can complain about these things. I think it will outweigh anything you see here below 3 out of 5. I think what we get with the football outweighs all of that. And just the claim.
You see that first long pass he connects at Old Trafford? That'll buy him 6 months.
6 months.
6 months, no complaints. That first,
it probably will. It probably will.
Nonchalant was just saying in the comments, like 70 people watching, there's only 6 likes. Guys, smash a like, please. Come on, smash a like. You're watching, just hit the like.
Yeah,
it won't take money. It won't take money out of your bank account, like Nonchalant has said over there. Just
make sure you smash the likes. We need to move on though, because we dedicated almost 40 minutes, which I promised we wouldn't do, to that whole topic.
Oh, we're talking about another thing.
Yeah, we got lots of things to talk about. One thing
I
want to do
was full Onana.
And by the way, like, people just think we could just speak, like, you know how long this, you know how many Onana clips we've got in here? 15 minutes, 11 minutes, 6 minutes. This is like 40 minutes of watching a goalkeeper, and people think we're running agendas. If I could choke that guy, Alex, I would. What I wanted to get into here quickly, what we're going to be doing next is very, very quickly. If you remember, guys, I did some examples on some goals that we scored against, it was against Palace, where we had 2 advanced midfielders joining the attacking line. I broke down how in the Leeds game, a similar dynamic with Fred, creating space for guys on the ball. Shout out to Elzo, who couldn't be with us tonight. He's out having dinner. Hope he's having a lovely dinner. He tweeted a goal that we scored. It was against Everton. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. I got it here. I'm going to do this quickly. I'm not gonna. There's a lot of stuff I'm skipping out here. Just to give you an idea, because Mason Mount has signed since we last did the podcast, of course. I can imagine Mason Mount in a similar situation for Man United, and I'll explain why in a second. Same dynamics of the other 2 goals that I broke down. The midfielders creating space. Wan-Bissaka has other options. We're not going to get into that. Wan-Bissaka drives into the space that McTominay is vacating, buys him time on the ball. He could have made a forward pass. He didn't. That's fine. We're not going to cook him. This ain't that type of analysis. Ball goes back to David De Gea. We recycle. We work the ball left. And you can see Sabitzer. Look at where Sabitzer was. If you remember the Fred clip, Fred was central and ended up left wing. Here you can see, if I go all the way back on my cursor, Sabitzer's here.
Yep.
He's here. And when he receives the ball, where is he? He's left wing. If people think I'm let's just go back to it, because some people like to dispute some of these things that I analyze, man. It's frustrating. You go back, I highlighted the exact same thing. You see Fred in the center circle? Mm-hmm. When he receives the football in this clip, where is he? Where is he? He's left wing. Right? You don't find these patterns unless you don't find these examples and line them up unless they're worth unpacking. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I can imagine Mason Mount. So I've got confused with my clips because I had to zoom out here. We'll be quick with this one and go back to the Everton game. I can see Mount taking up these positions that Sabitzer's taken up. Being central, ball couldn't get worked. The space is out wide. You can see here if I zoom back in, or zoom out rather, because it's weird on my scout. He was central, but he's come wide. And now he's got all this space in the world to link play. I'm not going to get into it. There's loads of things I can break down there that I'm not going to. But this is something I can see Mason Mount doing. He doesn't just receive the football between the lines. He can pull wide, find space, and drive forward, basically. I'll show you some examples in a second. Key thing here is, who's the midfield? The midfield is Malacia. Bruno, you can swap Malacia for sure. Bruno for Casemiro. Wan-Bissaka for Dalot. Sabitzer and McTominay, where are they? Where are they in this attack? They're not deep, are they? They're higher up the pitch, higher than Rashford. When you see your manager do this, there's a reason. When you see your manager do this, and he picks Mason Mount as his first choice midfielder, do the math.
Yeah.
Do the math. Just that's all I would advise people to do, is do the math on that.
I love when I see us like that. I love seeing those floods. I've absolutely love seeing
and these
those
are
floods.
goals that people say is Ten Hag ball, but they want to refute certain things they're seeing. It don't really make sense to me. I've got a Mount clip. Where's my Mount progressive runs? And like, I can make this playlist a lot longer than I have. When it comes to Mason Mount, I don't want to get copyrighted. Let me mute this quickly. He receives the ball and progresses it in all different types of scenarios. So here you can see it. Doesn't have to beat a man. You don't always
Every scenario, every
this
single one.
idea that you always have to do the most difficult thing, twist and turn. That's not football over 50 games.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
Good midfielders
really
find space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see him here. You see him highlighted there. Find space. Drives with the ball quickly into the final third. I know lots of players in our team that would appreciate that. People like Anthony would appreciate that. This example, you see him here, does a similar thing. Where is he? He's highlighted there. This might be the same example twice. My bad. We'll go into a separate example. There's just variety to how he receives the ball. So here, again, receiving it in space. He's going to pop it around the corner, and then he's gone. He's gone. Trying to find a final ball. We'll go into another example quickly. There's just variety to how he receives passes between the line. Even clever stuff like this, a quick free kick. Camera's focused on Lingard. By the time it comes back, Mount's already progressing the football. Right? He's a clever player. He'll find space. He'll avoid getting into duels if he has to. Here's him, but he can do this. Once this catches up, again, I don't want to get copyrighted. He can do stuff like this where he comes in here, slide tackle comes in, he evades it, good left foot, first touch, drives with the ball. He can do that. But you don't want something. You guys go ahead. Give your thoughts on just the examples that I'm going through. Go ahead.
I think one of the biggest things I see is the ability to carry the ball, because you know when you see, and I was saying I enjoy the floods when those attacking floods that happen. Really, we hadn't seen them before Ten Hag came to the club, and now Ten Hag's at the club. We see them all the time, and people don't appreciate
situations like this.
People don't appreciate that enough, Daniel. People don't see that enough.
Watch him here, Jimmy. He'll just pop it around the corner, get it back, then he's gone. And once he goes, you're not living with him at all. I want to go to Ariam though. I do want to go to Ariam because Ariam, you wanted him at Liverpool. Is Ariam gone? Oh, he dipped out. Where's he ran off to?
I think he's dropped. I think he's falling out.
We'll get him back because Ariam is a Liverpool
fan.
Yeah,
I was backstage. I just
Ariam's a Liverpool fan who's not going to deny that he wanted Mason Mount, and Liverpool were chasing him. Mason Mount is the number one midfield target after Bellingham. Very quickly, let Man United fans know why you wanted Mason Mount, Ariam.
So the way I looked at it was why any other midfielder should be an option above him, and I couldn't come to any conclusion. So I looked at obviously the highest level, so minimum threshold 800 minutes in Europe. I then also looked at number of starts in the Premier League, because that's the league Liverpool play in, and then also the types of games. So everyone knows that Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, when you see that team, you know that's Guardiola's paranoid first team. This can't fail team, and Mount was always part of those games for different managers at Chelsea. But then in terms of the player he is himself, fundamentally, he ticked enough boxes for me to dive way deeper into all the context. So in terms of his technical ability, it literally was enough. It wasn't superb, but it was enough for me to not really focus on that, because how did he achieve in a really high-performing team? If you want to keep on being one of these people, I feel, that wants to speak about players' technical ability, then you really haven't thought about how long a season is, right? So for
wasn't
me,
he their player? Was he their player of the season in the season they won the Champions League recently?
That's all accolades. That's not for me to.
No, but I'm saying,
very quickly. I love this example. You see him here, gets it, comes short, doesn't do much. Rudiger will break lines. You can imagine Martinez doing this, and then watch him, just does the guy off the ball. And then he's gone. Now he's gone. He can do what he wants.
He's so adaptable as a player.
Look, yeah, he's going to the right wing, and he's like, now I'm going to go left wing. Now I'm going to play a through ball. They should actually do better with that situation. But he can receive the ball. What I imagine is Man United fans want him living. If I highlighted it, actually, they want someone else doing the work. So Mason Mount is it hair? Yeah. Let me just use this. Mason Mount's like hair in this spot. Someone else is doing the work and he's receiving the ball anywhere where I'm moving the circle. That's what they imagine.
Have
But
you
he's
seen
actually-
how exceptional he is away from home?
But he can receive the ball deeper if needed. There's more variety to what he can do. He's not just going to stay here all day waiting for somebody to find him. Because this ain't the zones where you protect, where you like ball progression is more valuable from, if I rewind backwards, actually. Let me just save this. Let's not worry about that graphic. It's more valuable here. This is where that ball progression is valuable. Here, in that zone, in this space, in these situations. That's where you want it. Like, to expect him to consistently live in the final third to progress the ball, we'll just be the same team we were last season, to be honest with you. So I think we'll see variety to what Mason Mount does in the Man United shirt.
He's not a final third player.
No, he's not.
People who think he is don't understand how to use a player like him.
I don't think he is at all.
He for me is best in the middle third, middle's third, but then also I think he's really good. For me, I thought Klopp would give him a side defensively, give him a side like he can man an aisle, especially on the left and the right. His hard shoulder defending isn't the best. He tends to grapple, but on that left side, he can man a side, which as a manager, I knew my manager, Klopp, would sleep calmly away from home. Certain game states that can make you look like you don't have a plan. He literally is like a system resetter. I've been to Stamford Bridge. I've seen him maybe like 5 times live. I've seen some bad games where they've lost under Potter, but it's different because I think he's a player that needs responsibility. And I knew basically Klopp would give him everything he wanted from football, which was responsibility. And then also a game plan that he can settle in. I don't know anything about him personally, but he appears like he needs to be aware of what you want from me and how is this connected to the team? And is this part of the main plan? He really wants to know that. If he can smell that he's part of a plan B kind of thing, he just can't do much. But when Tuchel made it clear, this is my main plan, you are in it, he wants to live with that kind of program. And that's why Klopp, anyway.
Yeah, I know you want to listen. Shout out to you for being an honest Liverpool fan.
But we got Schlobozai. We got Schlobozai, man. He's big mount. He's big mount.
He's big mount. That's what you're calling him.
He is
big mount.
He's big mount.
Big mount.
I know Aaron will get bored quickly, but we're going to do some Man United topics that are related to Liverpool or yourself. We've got to discuss it, man. Harry Maguire, Man United want £50 million and he wants to stay. I'll give my thoughts on this last. We're going to go to you first. Did you say 50? Brian. Allegedly. We're going to go to you first, Brian. What's your thoughts on this, Brian?
Maguire wanting to stay? I mean, here's what I'll say. Like, footballing stuff aside, like ability on the pitch, whatever, like, man, I really think from a lot of the ways that he talked about himself, he understood, like, he's not dumb. Like, he realized that nobody rated him last year. And he knew, like, he had to, it's like you have to pat yourself on the back because nobody else is going to pat you on the back if you don't. You know what I mean? He was, like, living in that world last year. So I really do think that Maguire wants to prove to people that he can play at Manchester United.
Can I ask Brian, how long does he have left at your club?
As far as his contract goes?
What, contract?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I'll find out. I'll let you know in a minute.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But I mean, yeah, he kind of got given the keys to the kingdom by Ali, probably incorrectly, to be completely honest. He clearly wasn't up for it and couldn't handle the pressure. But I think that handled in a different way, if he wants to stay, he might actually be able
contract runs till 2026. 2026 is when his contract ends.
Listen, I know I'm a Liverpool fan, but he's awful. Truly awful player. like horrendous. And I asked them the other day. It's weird. I don't know how this came up, but I'm being serious, by the way. None of this will be jokes. I asked, I think it was Shubs. I asked a United fan. I said, where was he meant to be in terms of like? So he joined 1920. It's 23, 24. Like, in your opinion, Brian, like, what do you feel he was meant to achieve in terms of his agent and his camp? What do you think in their parallel universe should be happening right now?
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I think Leicester
in their heads,
Leicester got away with highway robbery for the amount of money that we paid for Harry Maguire. But that's completely separate from the player. I think that Maguire came into a team that had a manager that really wasn't backed. I think he was given the armband probably incorrectly, which added a layer of pressure on top of him that he couldn't cope with. I think personally, if Maguire is willing to accept his new lease of life under Erik ten Hag, that he could actually be an asset to the team. And if he accepts where he currently is, like, you're not going to start every game. If Varane is available, he's playing. Like, I don't have any issue. I don't have any issue with that. But my biggest issue was with Maguire starting every game to the point to where his deficiencies were starting to be targeted by opposition teams. Like, that's not okay. So like he had like
you know,
I think that's when you know it's bad.
I think in his first two seasons,
that's a big point.
Were too critical on him. I think the way Ollie played in his first two seasons, we were high up the pitch, counter attack, retreat to the edge of the box, try to win it back and go again. That suited Maguire. In the third season, when his confidence was lower, internal issues going on, being challenged by Bailly, Ronaldo, etc., staying high up the pitch. Funny enough, the way Ten Hag wants to play even more aggressively, because Ten Hag wants to do it on steroids. He's not equipped for that. Doesn't have the confidence, doesn't have the skill set to do that. And he's been exposed. And you can see there was that moment in the penalty shootout against Brighton. He's out of place. He's got no connection with these players.
All over the gaff.
Like, you could see he wanted to speak, didn't know what to say. His confidence is, forget it, is completely gone. What I would say is this, though. When it comes to Man United pricing Maguire at 50 mil, I don't see the issue with that. Because when we go for players, people price high, and now we've been working.
No. 50 mil.
Wait, Ariam. So if you really want Harry Maguire, right, then work us down. Work us down to 30 mil.
Yep.
Because if we ask for 30 mil, we're not going to get it. We're going to get less. If we ask for 25, we're not going to get 20. Well, so you have to work for it. Also, another issue here is, this is why I want new owners, right? And Aaron will understand this. On the balance sheet, we're taking a loss, right? Even in amortization terms, we're taking a loss.
Significant.
No way, it's still a loss.
On Aaron, you look at his fee, even if you spread it over 5 years, the cost of his fee, you still need more than 25 million not to take a financial loss on him. So the only person that's
3, right?
Ariam, the only person that signs off on financial losses is your owner. It's not Ten Hag, it's not Murta. Richard Arnold can set it in motion, but Joe Glazer has to say yes. If Joe Glazer does not want to take a loss on Maguire, he's one of those assets I've looked at this summer, like Martial, like a Tellez and Bailly. I don't know why people have expectations to get money for these guys. Alanga, yes. Murta should be able to sell Alanga. Murta should be able to sell McTominay. Should be able to sell Henderson. Should be able to sell Fred. But the guys who are making 200 grand a week, he's 29 and his stock is low, because we've all said he's garbage for the last 2 years, which he has been. You can't expect him to be a good sell. And football clubs are going to look elsewhere. Aston Villa, I was in a space a few months ago trying to explain to people, one, if he's as delusional as we think he is, Maguire, and he's good enough to be here, he might want to stay. Someone got angry at me. But I said, if you're being consistent in your view of him, don't be surprised if he says, I can make it here, I'm going to prove myself. That's why he keeps responding in the media saying, Pep rated me, Ten Hag rates me, Southgate, I'm an England international. He rates himself. So don't surprise me he wants to back himself.
Well, I
look
don't
at the
see what's
landing
wrong with
spot.
that.
You look at the landing spot. Hold on, this is what I mean about Man United.
Ezri Konsa.
That's what I think about Man United fans thinking the world revolves around them. One of the decent landing spots that I was given for him was Aston Villa. It made sense. Aston Villa have gone and got Pau Torres, who's younger, who costs 55 million, but he's probably going to make more than 250 a week. So the clubs you want him to go to are looking at other football players. That's the reality. This is just the legacy of, I'm sorry, Joe, I know you're watching Woodward. You pay 80 million for Maguire. You put him on 250 grand a week. The only way you get rid of this asset is if the owner wants to take a loss. If the owner doesn't want to take a loss,
he's staying.
Or we send them out on loan and then we have to find the money to, or maybe, just maybe somebody might want him to pay the money. But if we don't rate him, why do you expect the rest of the football world to? Jimmy, I'll have the final word on this and we're going to move on after that.
I think it's, for me, take the loss. I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying, just whatever you can get, just get it, and then because he needs to leave the club. And I think that's for him as well. I don't think it would be, I'm sure he's at the age where he still feels like he's got a lot to contribute to a football team, probably at a decent level. I still think he's a Premier League defender, so I can't take that away from him. So I think he should go elsewhere, and I think he should just come to a deal with the club.
Jimmy,
the club should draw up a deal that structures maybe a payment for him, might be an incentive for him to leave the club. So they need to do whatever they can do to get rid of Harry Maguire. And I think for his career, he should agree to that deal. And
you know one other issue, and this is why United have to play it the way they're playing.
No, he should play in the cup.
Aaron will know this, if you actively try to force him out, even if you had this is what you need. You need Joe Glazer to agree to a payoff. Then him and his agent will work, find somewhere that's going to pay him 180, 170, whatever it is, 30% or 40% less of what he's earning now. And then we agree to pay him cash for the difference. Right?
Yeah,
when I see stories about Chelsea wanting to pay off Callum Hudson-Odoi, right? Why do they want to terminate his contract? Because the owner is like, I've got cash. We will pay you to leave. We'll pay the difference.
Yeah, that's what we should do.
And it's what frustrates me when the fan base, Man United can't sell, because they're crap assets. That's why we can't sell some of them.
That's exactly my point.
Same thing will happen with Martial. I've seen 20. We're not getting no money for Martial. He's 27, 28, injury prone, making 250 grand a week. You're not getting no money for a player like that.
Just get him out.
Intelligent football. Those are football. You need owners that are willing to take the loss. If we have to get cash, transfer into equity to pump money into the football club, do what we need to do. We will pay you cash to leave so we can move forward as a football team. We don't have owners like that. That's what I was saying before. The Elangas, the McFreds, the McTominays, the Hendersons, they're all what? Fred's not making more than 200 grand a week. He's probably on 150 or less. You can sell him. He's got a good work rate, a good engine. He can live in the Premier League. That's fine. McTominay's got resale value, making less than 100 grand a week. Henderson's at the 100 grand mark. He's under 26, under 25. Got resale value. You can sell him. Elanga's young.
The one you'll struggle with is Brandon Williams.
You can sell him. But the other guys just accept. Frustrates with Man United fans. Don't understand why we can't set. Why certain players are problematic.
Simple Sister's point is a good point, Daniel. That point.
Sorry, Aaron. What were you going to say? Aaron?
No, you cut me earlier. I was saying on amortization. How is he at least not easy to sell on the books? Because 80 divided by what was his length? The contract length was like 7.
It wasn't 7. It wasn't 7. It was
what
5,
wasn't it? 2026. I asked Jimmy earlier.
The 6 is optional, but it's actually a 5-year contract.
Wait, 5 off the bat. So it goes to 25, like the actual, without clauses. It goes to 25.
I think so. I haven't checked.
That's 6. That's 6.
Let's go. I'm going off what Jimmy said.
So haven't you at least got like 36 million off it on the books? Because he's done through 1920, 2021, 21, 22.
20, 21, 22, 22.
22, he's done 4 years.
He's on 4 years.
So I guess is 6 divided by into 80 is something like.
It's not the 6 because he's not at that year yet. You're basing it on the year that he's currently at.
Oh my bad.
You need to account for the difference from year 4 to year 6. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So I think it's at 20. If we say it's at 20, you need to sell it more than 20 million, so it's not a loss on your books. But again, any loss, this area, it's the owner. It's not the director of football.
Oh no, I'm just talking about books. The actual cash is you're right on that. Yeah.
It's the owner. And when you say this to Man United fans, they get upset because they want to crash it on people. Like, it's not even on Arnold. Arnold can say, you know what, Murta, I'll try to convince Joe Glazer to sign off. But Joe Glazer still has to sign it off. It's not even Arnold.
He's not. You don't need to kick him out, though. He's not drink water. He's not a bad energy anymore.
No, but if you want to move forward as a football club, like City would have taken the loss a year ago. 2 years. City don't hold on to poor players.
They don't.
pay
They
them off
never
and
do.
No,
move
but they
on.
do give them, like,
Doesn't
Otamendi did have a reduced season before he left. Before Pep said enough's enough, he did have like a really reduced season. Can't he just play in the cup? Because my thing was just on
Yeah,
Jimmy
but this
saying
was
for
his
career.
reduced season. This season
He
was
should be
reduced.
playing in the cups. He's costing money,
no,
I
man.
just
but
want to
He's
address
playing
this
cup
comment quickly
games.
because we're going to move topics. Yeah, shout out to Sabusio. Do you know what I saw? Because I follow other news accounts from other football clubs. Like I know, like for example, Fred's not the number one target for Fulham as an example. If you go Fulham a news account, you'll see who Fulham are targeting before Fred. That's why I get frustrated at my fan base. The world don't roll around us. What's funny about this? West Ham are now complaining that people want big money from them. If you follow the West Ham news account, their news accounts are saying West Ham are getting frustrated at some of the prices they're being quoted for players they want to buy.
What?
Yeah,
When
I
they
can't
charge
imagine
105 million for,
Yeah,
for
Can't
you want to
imagine
charge
why.
105 mil for
They
Declan
charged
Rice?
105 million for Declan Rice, and
I
you're
want
complaining
45
about
million from Scott McTominay
ridiculous.
if West Ham come calling. I want people to get the Man United treatment. We're going to move on. We're going to switch gears, as LeVar Ball would say. If you get the reference, you get the reference. Man United are going to have a new captain announced this week. It's going to be the next thing that Man United fans are going to be outraged about.
Can't wait.
Let's be honest. Bruno Fernandes, let's just keep it above.
I don't think it's a conversation to have, Daniel.
It is a conversation to have. I've seen people spending a lot of energy and time saying, I think it should be Varane. I think it should be Lisandro Martinez. I think it should be Casemiro. Let me put it, let's go to Ariam first. As an outsider, as a Liverpool fan, given that Bruno was the de facto captain last season, from the outside looking in, and you're far removed from it, do you see a world where Ten Hag looks at his squad and skips over the guy that he gave the armband to unofficially last season, and he goes for Alessandro Casemiro Varane? Does that make sense to you, Ariel? Do you see that happening at Man United?
No, that sounds weird.
Easy.
No unpack. No unpack.
No, because of the way you in terms of optics, that's weird. That's really weird. Because it's not a new player or there's no new information against that information. Martinez odd in terms of he was there. Why didn't you just do it? Luke Shaw would have been an interesting one, because you could say mid-season he showed him he could do, I'm just being extra for the sake of the stream. You could say with Luke Shaw, for example, he showed him by doing the left centre-back role, this changed, blah, blah, blah. There was new information and he's choosing to act on that. But there's nothing like that apart from with Shaw. That was going to be my, random shout of something that I think has a decent reasoning behind it.
So no Casemiro, no Varane. Jimmy, what's your thoughts?
Bruno, all the way. I've said this though for a while now. What's the point in even messing about? Just give him the captaincy and move on. It's not. Everyone's already accepted it. Harry Maguire didn't even have the balls to lift the cup without inviting Bruno to lift the cup with him. It's like this is done, isn't it? So why are we? It's come on. Bruno's been the captain since he came to Manchester United. Let's just put it out there.
But if I do unpack just quickly, Devils, I don't think he's the best captain for you.
No, I'm not saying he's the best, but I'm saying he's the logical.
Oh no, for the sake of it, you let me.
So, Ariel, hold on to that. Hold on to that unpacking. We'll get to that last. Brian, different question for you.
Yep.
Do you see Man United as the next captain, official captain of the football club?
Well, you froze a little bit. Say that one more time.
You broke up briefly.
Oh, sorry. Briefly. Do you see Man United Twitter accepting Bruno Fernandes as the next captain of the club?
No. No.
Who gives a fuck about? Sorry, why am I swearing? I've not sworn all night.
Look,
why did I swear just then?
Look, here's the thing. Man United Twitter. I mean, they eat, sleep, and breathe off of saying how much we don't rate. We support the football club, but we don't rate our players who pull on the shirt every week. But yet we watch these players play and we get frustrated every single week because they're not this player. They're not this player. They're not Haaland. They're not Mbappe. They're not Ronaldinho. They're not Rivaldo. They're not those types of players. We don't rate our own players. So it really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, we're always going to find something in some other player that wears a Manchester United shirt to be angry at. Like one of my biggest issues with Bruno Fernandes is not anything that he does on the football pitch. Is that his weaknesses are put under a microscope because he's been overplayed since he got here. We haven't tooled around him. He's a brilliant footballer. We just haven't properly built around him so that he doesn't have to play all the time. He like Bruno Fernandes in a team that finished like in the top 4. He ran the most miles. He played the most minutes. Like
it's crazy.
He created the most. He created the most chances in the Premier League to one player. That's how bad we are going forward. He gave the ball to Rashford more than anybody else.
That doesn't make him a good captain, though.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it makes him a good or bad captain. What I'm saying is like Bruno, his availability, his impact on the squad, the trust that his manager has in him, it's a shoe-in choice.
The trust the players have in him as well.
It's a shoe-in choice. Like if we want to pick Varane and then Varane like have an injury that keeps him out for 3 weeks here, and then it's going to go to Bruno anyway. It's going to go to Bruno anyway.
The Bruno detractors that I speak to want a centre back to cover for Varane and a midfielder to cover for Casemiro. So if you're in that camp and you want the armband going to Casemiro or Varane, they're going to be out of the team.
Yeah, Casemiro's going to get suspended. Varane's
it's not even inconceivable that they're both out of the team at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to fall to Bruno. It's always going to fall to Bruno.
It's just unavoidable. The Arium.
Casemiro doesn't have an injury record.
No, but he has a suspension issue.
Man gets sent off every other game, bro.
Arium. Based off what Man United have available to them at the moment, who's a better candidate? Who's a better candidate than Bruno Fernandes?
Ooh. You know what? If I can take away like context of length of time at the club and I look at game state, I look at players who help you in your most difficult moments. You know how much I speak about watching, games when teams are 1-0 down. I love that kind of data. I love knowing who's doing a lot away from home, early kickoff. That's Mason. Mason Mount would have sorted out my early kickoffs, man. I just know someone's on it. So if I look at all of that, the game I learned the most was you won away from home against Ammonia last season. Before you started winning games, as a Liverpool fan. Once Man United win 3 games, I don't really watch you anymore. But when you're in and out, yeah, I'm loving it. So that Ammonia game, I saw basically how Lissandro was like half of Ten Hag's plan.
Yep.
I also saw in the most difficult moments when it's time to hold onto the ball and also support a player in a way that is like Lissandro, for me, in your team, he doesn't see age. He doesn't see how old. He just looks, he spots things like how fatigued is a player, who needs a bit of support, who do I need to shoulder barge a bit more, send a certain message. Really, really adaptive in his thinking of how to apply the actions, not just applying the action, adding aggression for the sake. Like you lost against Villa, and I thought he had a perfect game. And then also the thing I never understood was everybody laughing at when he ate grass against Salah. I was focused on the fact that he got back up and still pushed him and made him cross. It was Luke Shaw that was watching the whole incident unfold in front of him and still didn't track Gakpo. I watched in that moment, for me, was a message to Ten Hag to say, I value the fact that you brought me to Man United so much. I will eat grass 4-0 down, defend the action, forget my World Cup, forget anything, because you brought me here. That for me, so I've looked at it in terms of relationship with the manager and also the team and the game state and who actually steps up in those difficult moments. For me, importance to the system, availability, I'll give it to Lissandro. So
I think you made a good argument. I think Sandro Martinez is a great candidate for captain. If he gets it, you can see no complaints from me. One thing I would say, though, is that captaincy is toxic. there's too much conversation about. Like, I don't know any other. Odegaard is the captain at at Arsenal. Like, Odegaard.
I really don't think the armband matters.
I know he's a good football player.
Oh, it matters. Jordan Henderson's my captain.
True.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
Yeah.
At Man United, because you know what? I'm gonna rewind back. Because of the toxicity, we give it to Lissandro. It should clear that up. But I'd rather he didn't have that armband for that reason. I'm happy with an older player.
He can handle that, Devils.
No, he can handle it. But let's say he has a worse second season. I don't think he will. Then the armband becomes an extra narrative. I don't mind the armband being a narrative for Bruno. I don't mind the armband being a narrative for Casemiro.
I think it wouldn't bother Bruno. Bruno wouldn't be bothered by the armband.
But Bruno doesn't know how to engage with referees.
I tell you why. Bruno could easily.
He does. He's perfect. He's
I wanted to bring that up.
Casemiro and Bruno could easily be out of this team in 2 to 3 seasons. Sancho's going to be here. He ain't going nowhere. He's going to be here. So
he's going to be here. Yeah.
He can get the armband in the future. Maybe things were a more healthier football club, and he gets the armband, and it's not that big a deal. But I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm forcing it. I actually don't care. I'll keep it real. I actually don't care.
No, but what about the referees?
I actually
That's
don't
a sincere
care.
point. I promise.
Keep it real.
I just don't want it to go to Varane. I'll say that. I'll say I don't want Varane to be the
because
captain.
people want to hear about it. I actually don't care. Last year when Ten Hag gave it to Maguire and people were upset, I'm like, I promised you it won't matter. So what we need to achieve this season with this squad is not going to matter that Maguire's the official club captain on the bloody website or on team sheet piece of paper on the day. It actually does not matter.
But then what about my point about the officials, though? I promise that was the sincere point. I promise.
We only see 35% what matters, and that's on the pitch. You don't see what they're like in the toilet, in the dressing room, in the corridor, in the hotel room, at the bar, at the golf course, at dinners. All the other stuff in the dressing room in tough moments, you don't see any of that as a football fan. You don't see before the guy into bed, the captain checks up on a couple guys because he sees they're nervous, looks in their eyes. Let me go talk. You don't see the group chats after the game. Yo, let's go watch this video. You need time. We don't see any of that stuff.
I think Rashford is not a bad shout. Someone's just said Rashford.
That's shocking. You know what?
It's not. Because look,
shout out to
everyone that's been saying everything. Rashford would not be a bad shout under all your reasons.
Smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe.
Give him the number 9 shirt before the captaincy.
Ariam, you know when we're in spaces and you hear a topic, you hear a suggestion that makes you say, "I'm locking off the space." Rashford is captain.
Yes.
Episode 30.
Nah, man, you're sleeping on my point about Bruno and the officials, man.
Yeah, we can do like Bruno and the officials is great, but I want to end the stream now. Rashford is captain.
Yeah, shocking.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Rashford, number 1 captain for me.
And you know what? Yeah. Peace.